Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 12 of His and Her Life Hacks Podcast. I'm Larry Ambrose. This is Dawne, and we're joined today by a very special guest, Heidi Watson, and Dawne will formally introduce her in a second. Today's topic is about how health and fitness can impact you at every age. And we chose this topic because health and fitness are very important to us. As a matter of fact, we were both at the gym this morning.
Yeah.
And so we're very passionate about it. And particularly as we've kind of aged, we've seen some benefits that really help us, right? And I think we've seen just overall health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Improved health. We've seen our energy level increase, which is super important when you have 10 kids that you're trying to chase around, as well as launching a new business and just the kind of crazy schedule we keep. And also, I think just kind of an overall, you feel good about yourself, you feel confident.
It's an outlet too. It's a release.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
So, and for us, that's super important. So we wanted to talk about it, but we don't feel like we're the experts. So that's why we wanted to bring on Heidi and she has an awesome story too, which Dawne will get into here in a second. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dawne and she can introduce Heidi and we'll take it away.
Yes. So hello, everyone. So as Larry said, we have a special guest today, Heidi, and Heidi's here to speak about her journey. Not just her passion for health and fitness, but her journey battling obesity from a young child all the way into adulthood, weight loss, surgery, the impact it had on her from childhood on up, and now as an overcomer and someone who has transformed her pain into purpose, which is what we are all about. Heidi's here to offer hope and inspiration to anyone going through it or who has gone through it, who would love to join a gym, doesn't know where to start, or is afraid to walk in the front door, or all of those things. So I'm going to read Heidi's bio because I think it's very important. Heidi is a fitness instructor and personal trainer for Lifetime Fitness in the Philadelphia area at multiple clubs. At the age of 45, she passionately shares the joy of being active and eating healthy after losing 110 pounds. Amazing. By embracing a new way of life. So thank you, Heidi. Heidi, welcome. Thank you for being here with us today.
Glad to be.
So I thought we could just dive in and have you share your personal story with everyone and the importance of exercise at any age, especially middle age, for the ladies transitioning into menopause and how that impacts their body and maybe, what has worked for them their whole life and all of a sudden isn't working. And it's like hormone related. I know you don't have to be a hormone expert to know this stuff, but, it happens and exercise can help. So.
Absolutely. Well, my story. So I'm adopted. I was adopted at a super young age, 10 days old. And shortly after I was adopted, I was about 2.5, and my adoptive mother passed away from breast cancer. And so my dad was left a single dad, and I was with lots of nannies and, here and there and everywhere. My, dad did what he could, did his best. But there was definitely a lot of shuffle and a lot of instability at times, and can be hard on a kid. And I definitely found eating as a self-soothe.
Yep.
And I have memories of, hiding under the dining room table with cookies and just watching all the chaos going on in the house. And I just felt safe there. I was hiding, and I have vivid memories of that. But it, definitely set me up for a lot of my life with binging disorder and with obesity.
Which is common, that's
Right.
it's not unusual.
It isn't. So that's kind of where, I'm coming from. And that really, became a cycle into adulthood because, when you're young and you develop this, this habit, something happens, you get bullied. I was bullied quite a bit as a kid for being overweight. And so you go to your safe place, you go, you hide, and you eat.
Make yourself feel better. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so, that cycle really sticks with you through life. You are looking for an acceptance. And so when you're rejected and, that bullying happens, that's where you go, and then you feel terrible, and it's a
It's a cycle.
Right. So, that's really kind of where I'm coming from. And it took until pretty well into my 30s
Mm-hmm.
to really make a big change. I got to the point where I really didn't want to get out of bed.
Yeah. I was
And
going to ask you, what was the
yeah,
catalyst for change? So, was it one of those moments that you just woke up and you were like, I just can't do this anymore?
it really was. I really can pinpoint. It was just a morning where I was there, two kids. I have two daughters,
Hmm.
amazing, 8 years apart. And I was like, wow, like I really just can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I just want to hide. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Heidi, you're a mom. My girls are the most amazing things in the world.
Yeah.
I was in, unfortunately, an unhappy marriage at the time. And it all just kind of
Come
smacked me
to
in
a
the
head.
face. Like, well, what can we do? We can do this.
Mm-hmm.
We can feel like crap and we can hide. Or what other options are there? What can I do? What can I do?
I can
And
certainly relate to that. My daughters were my why, and I spent 46 years in an unhealthy cycle, unbeknownst to me, repeating generational patterns and just kind of functioning or operating unconsciously. I always said asleep at the wheel. I just was surviving.
yeah,
So, it manifests in people differently. Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's abuse, sometimes it's I don't know, workaholic, workoutaholic, there's just so many vices that we as human beings cling to. Smoking, drinking, there's just a million
Yeah.
different things. So, yeah, so good for you. So I'm assuming your daughters were your why and what really got you out
really
of
were.
bed.
They really were because I'm like, I don't want them to see me like this. I don't
Hmm.
want their example as a mom to be weak and can't deal with life and unhealthy and that they aren't worth it. That
Hmm.
they aren't worth me wanting to be active and strong and be there for them. And I really 100% couldn't be. I couldn't
Hmm.
be. So that was my why. And that's really how I came into, that change. And it's just been
So take
learning ever
us through the
since.
journey.
Yeah. Take us
Take
through.
us through the journey. So, as much or little as you want to share. So you had the moment in bed. I had a moment as well. So no shame. You know what? This is a breakthrough, which I always look as a positive. We all
Absolutely.
have something in life, and then it takes us to crash in order for us to climb the ladder, right? So it's like a
Yep.
blessing that this happened to you. It doesn't matter if you were 36 or 56 or whatever. So take us through the journey that you had the moment in bed, you're looking at your kids, like what happened next and how did that impact your children at their age and where do you see them now? From all of
So essentially, it started all out with one class, which
that.
was Zumba. My cousin, and it was actually a lifetime, the company I work for now, my cousin invited me to go to a Zumba class at her gym with her and kicking and screaming.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, there's no way, it's full of these, thin, gorgeous
Perfect people, yeah.
people, right? And I just saw like elementary school, high school flash at me all over again. That was really where
Yeah.
my was. She said, Heidi, just try it. Just try it. If you don't like it, you can leave. I won't even fight you. Just give it a whirl. Because I love music. And
Yep.
so it really was kind of a, hey, this is something my cousin who I love might like. Sure enough, I loved it. I had a blast. I saw people of every shape,
Yep.
every color and age and size, and I felt comfortable. I absolutely had a blast, and I said, okay, this is something I could do. This is something I have fun with. I need to find this,
Hmm.
where I live, and so
Let
I
me
did.
stop real quick because you said
Sure.
something very, very important that I want you to almost just enhance on. So there are people of all different shapes and sizes and ethnicities and ages in lifetime in every gym.
Absolutely.
I think that is a stigma that people make up stories in their head that are struggling to walk into the gym. Like, I'm
100%.
not going in there. They're perfect people. Like, they're all fit and you know what? There are those people, but there are pregnant women in there that are ready to
Oh
give
yeah.
birth. There are women just like you that are just getting started, or 70, 80-year-old, men and women. So that's
Absolutely.
like so important to let the world know about. Like, it
It
doesn't matter where you live, what gym. Gyms are not just for perfect people.
it really is. And that's truly what I thought up to
Yeah.
this point. And it was absolutely life changing when she took me in there and I saw exactly what you just said to be true. And
Yeah.
it was just like a relief. And not only did I feel comfortable, but they were nice. It was fun.
Yeah.
All of us,
Fun.
You got
out of
to
the
dance. You had a good time.
Yeah.
So that was where I took kind of that first step. And from there, I felt really good about that experience. So I decided, well, okay, I'll cut out soda.
Mhm.
And between that and Zumba, let's see where that goes. And just snowballed one thing to
Wow.
another change, to another small change. You feel better. You start making better
You're seeing
decisions.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then my kids see that. And then I love that they see that. And
Yeah.
that leads to more, positive awesomeness. So that's really kind of how it got started. And I loved it so much.
I'm curious. Did they join you in the gym? Did they start to come to the classes with you at all, or did you share in that?
It took a little bit. My older one, especially my younger one, is a ballet dancer. So that was
Yeah.
not a tough a tough sell for her. My older one, it took a little bit more time, but now she does come to the gym with me sometimes. Takes my classes, other people's classes.
Yeah,
My
when I started up in 2018, I started to get back into the gym and go. One of the reasons was because my kids were going. It was great to actually share
Wow,
that kind of passion together, and it was fun. And so it was just, yeah, I think it's another thing that people don't generally think about, but you can actually bond with your kids over something like going to the gym. So you do it,
absolutely.
you do it almost every Saturday with Sierra,
I
right?
do. I work out. My daughter. I work out
I
with
do.
Sierra every Saturday, and then we have such a ritual. We go to Starbucks after, and sometimes breakfast, and yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Speaking of food, I was going to ask, did you work with a nutritionist as you were going through that journey and you were cutting out things, or did you just hear from somebody like, oh, cut out this, cut out that?
I did. I trial and errored with
Mm-hmm.
some things. Weight Watchers, I tried, and that taught me some things. It taught me about portion control,
Yeah.
which being a binge eater, that's something that really was valuable to me to learn. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started to get more and more involved with fitness. I decided to work with a nutritionist so I could kind of learn instead of someone giving me fish. I wanted to learn how to fish. I wanted to learn at any stage of my life, whether I was active, whether I wasn't, whether, whatever age I was at, I would know how to properly nourish my body for that stage and point in my life. And so I worked with a nutritionist and, you learn all about that, all about macros, that
Yeah.
fun word that's trending around. Just, great ways to fuel your body in a healthy way, and also to learn that under eating can be just
Yeah.
as negatively impactful on your body as overeating. We have to fuel our body, especially if we're going to the gym, we're being active. Our body needs those calories in order to build
I
lean.
do.
So yeah, I learned lots of things from nutritionists. Some of the best time and money I ever spent, and it's knowledge that I'll use for the rest of my life. So
Yeah. And then, so what we do a lot of, or speak a lot about, is the origin story. And again, it goes back to your childhood. So when I connect the dots and think about yourself, going through this, so you hit a point where you were like, I've got to make a change. But it wasn't easy because your programming that's in your head from childhood tells you to stay familiar and comfortable and go back to that space of comfort, which was food for you. And that's something that even I today, even though I feel like I'm healed and I'm good and I'm clear on life, I still get triggered. I still go back to my familiar moments of spazziness or whatever it is that I used to, workaholic or no sleep, I'm good, those kind of things.
Sure.
That was my survival mode. And so Larry, of course, reminds me gently and lovingly, like, you're going down there again. So it's also
Sure.
having a partner or a friend or a great person in your life to support you as you maybe go back to an old familiar pattern. It's somebody saying, no, remember who you are, where you are, in a loving way. So I think, that was a hard thing for you to do.
Absolutely. And, counseling was a great resource too. I did seek counseling and, it, because being overweight kind of tied into low self-esteem, low self-worth, which turned into really poor romantic partners for
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Of
Because
that.
you didn't find yourself
Yeah,
worthy. Yeah.
absolutely. So that
Yeah.
definitely jumbled into okay, how am I going to reprogram
Yep.
and reset this? And, so learned some great tools through counseling as well.
Yeah.
And so that way, like you said, when we're triggered and we
Mhm.
want to go to that, that familiar place that isn't awesome for us, that isn't great for our journey, we have the tools
Yeah.
and we know how to navigate that and go back to the positive road that we were trucking down. And kind of something that my counselor had said that I love, that I always think about. She said, if you're driving your car and you get a flat tire,
Hmm.
what do? You don't flatten the other three. You don't go and just say, oh, forget it. I'm just going to, forget my progress, whatever. No,
That's a good analogy. I like that. I really
right.
like
It's,
that. Yeah. I never heard that. Yeah. It's
yes,
true.
right.
And you
I,
got to love yourself. It's got to start
yeah,
from within.
that's
And
right.
then that builds confidence. And confidence is everything. I mean, when you have that inner confidence, it exudes and then you attract that. And so then,
Yes.
and you can also see the ones that you used to be attracted to, whether it be friendships or partners. You're like, I don't actually like you anymore, or I don't want to be around that kind of person anymore because now you have up leveled to that healthy place. So I think therapy is fantastic. Therapy, life
Yeah.
coaching, all of
I was
that.
going to say the same thing. And I think it's important for everybody here because I mean, both of us have sought help,
Yeah.
right, when we were going through our challenges and our difficulties. And, I think sometimes there's a stigma about seeking help. Like, is it a sign of weakness and so forth? And it's not. Like, you're just trying to go to someone who's an expert and can help you figure it out. And,
Yeah.
for me personally, it was a huge help to get me through what I was facing and when I did it. And I clearly would not be where I was if it wasn't for that. So I think for anybody listening, it isn't like there's no shame, no weakness or whatever to go seek help. It's actually a sign of strength and a sign of
100%.
awareness and courage to go, try to get the help you need. So
Now,
Absolutely.
you mentioned something, Heidi, about under eating, over exercising. Excuse me. I think that's important. So, when I was a young girl, I was this super skinny, scrawny, ugly duckling. No lie. I was picked on, but that impacted me just as much as somebody being obese. It was just the complete opposite side of the coin. So, for anyone listening who thinks it's so great to be super skinny and try to keep up with whatever social media or that it's appealing or whatever, it's really not. I think what we want to get out, the message out, we're not experts, but I think being healthy, being strong, those are two words that I would want to lead with. Everyone has a different body shape, but like I got picked on for being super skinny, and that impacted me mentally and emotionally too. So it's all people are going to pick on people no matter what, tall, short, skinny,
Right.
heavy, black, white, yellow, whatever. But the thing is, if you have that constant confidence within yourself, nothing sticks.
Ab-
Nothing will get to you. So I love that as a result.
that's Rebecca.
Okay, so I don't know if you have any other questions, but I can wait. I was going to say, do you want to share your journey working out, like from the male
Well, I
perspective?
mean, mine was for when I was younger in my 20s, I worked out in the gym, lifted weights and stuff. And then as I started to get into, working the schedule and married and kids, I just got more into cardio, right? And I ran a lot, and that was my thing. But then in 2017, when I've talked about my story when I made the decision to stay home, raise my kids. That's when my daughters and my sons were going to a gym, and I joined with them, and it was great. And it was I got back into lifting and strength and conditioning. I just fell in love with it again, right? Like I don't go 5 times a week; I go 3 times a week, right? If I'm lucky, sometimes I have to go back less than that, but like I try to go at least 3 times a week, and it just I find that like it just gives me the energy and the stamina and so forth. And I'm 57 years old, right? I'm approaching 60, so at my age, like this is great. Like I still have the energy. I mean, I have 8 kids I got to kind of keep up with, and so it helps. I mean, and so I would just encourage any man, right,
Mm-hmm.
who's in whatever stage of life, that if you have, make the time because it's that important for you. So,
Love that.
Now,
Yes.
when did you decide? So you started back to your journey. You started doing the classes. You loved it. You started making different changes within your nutrition and life, just life choices. How did that then impact you to become a teacher, a fitness instructor? And then what has the second half of your life looked like from making those decisions?
A lot different. A lot
Yeah.
different. I'll tell you that. So when all of this kind of came to be, my trade was I was hair designer and I loved it.
Mhm.
Um, I'm a creative at heart, so I love people as well. So it allowed me to really indulge in those two things. But it didn't feel like what I really was meant to do. It never
Mhm.
did. I liked it, but I didn't love it, love it.
Yeah.
So when I started, really taking this healthy approach to life, and I found that I loved Zumba, like, I love music.
Mhm.
I think I can teach this. I can do this. Um, I found out a little bit about the training. It wasn't terribly expensive. It was something that I could do in a couple of days,
Mhm.
and thought, okay, I'm gonna see if I can get a friend to go and do it with me. So
Yeah.
I did to do it, and I was like, what's the worst that can happen? I take this training, and I never teach it, but it just you
Yeah.
know had a fun couple days doing this training. Let me tell you, it was gangbusters after that. Where I'm like, oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. So then I started teaching, a couple times a week part time while doing hair, and I found myself always just, talking about fitness and about, my classes and whatnot when I was doing hair and wanting to be there.
Yeah.
And finally decided, okay, I'm really making this change. This is really, really what I want to do. And I I did just that. Lifetime just so happened to be opening their first location here in Pennsylvania at
Mm.
Fort Washington. And I had, of course, had the experience with my cousin, that moment experience. And so it just seemed to be full circle that I go and make this transition with Lifetime. So I did. I auditioned to open their first club in Pennsylvania, and got on as a dance fitness instructor, and then just fell in love with all of it and just started adding on formats and more
Mhm.
formats. Now I teach just about everything other than yoga, and that is coming this.
Wow.
I'm going to be going to YTT. That's always been a goal, and so I'll be doing that this fall. But yeah, that's how it
Good
all
for
came
you.
in. And
And anybody that knows Lifetime knows that they're pretty prestigious in their choosing of instructors. They don't just accept anyone. So you had to be pretty fabulous in order for them to choose you for sure. And full circle, like you said, you came out of your shell completely. And now you're truly living your purpose. You're living, what makes you happy and fills your cup instead of just doing a job that you're good at, but it wasn't filling your cup. So that's the ultimate, I think, goal for everyone in life, to just do what they love, get paid for it, and
Yes.
just be happy every day
Yeah.
helping
I
others.
mean, you're just a perfect example of what we talk about with Grit to Grace with our
Yeah.
podcast and transforming your pain into purpose. So your purpose is taking the best of what you have to serve others, right? And that's what you do every day. And
Absolutely.
you learn something, you overcame something, you utilize that
Hmm.
knowledge and that, and that passion around it, turned it into your purpose, and that's what you do every day. And that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love it. I really get to, meet folks that are they're so just apprehensive and
Hmm.
I can see that I can spot them out because it was me.
Yeah.
Terrified. They're terrified. Or even just folks that, they're very comfortable with, oh, I just do dance fitness. No,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
7 years, you'll never see me pick up a weight. That's not happening. And it was super fun when I started learning those new formats, like I spoke about earlier. I would tell my dance class, I was like, hey guys, all right, I've never done before. I'm going to this weight class and I'm going to really learn how to do this. I'm excited about it. Anybody want to come with me?
Right.
And so
Yeah,
we'd,
that's awesome. Bringing a friend,
yeah,
getting a friend. That's how I got started too.
yeah,
And 25 plus years later of working out, I still will be in the back of the class or hidden in the middle. I don't like the front. My daughter always does. But I can truly attest to your classes. They're amazing. They're fun. They're energetic. They're spiritual. I always say that I love your music choices. And I
thank you.
always leave there kind of feeling cleansed and strong and whole. So it's an experience working out with you. It's not just me physically doing a class. So I hope by today's episode, we're going to inspire others to give it a shot. Where can they find you? So if you were to say, hey, you can talk to me, call me. If you're on the fence, you've never worked out, but you always wanted to, or maybe try Zumba again, like, how can they connect with you?
Absolutely. So as far as classes go, I'm at all three of our Pennsylvania Lifetimes at Ardmore on Fridays, and all the other days other than Sunday, I'm at the King of Prussia Lifetime and the Fort Washington Lifetime.
Oh,
And I am on Facebook, Heidi Watson,
Heidi
and
Watson. Okay.
Instagram as well. My handle is ScribeGirl18.
Okay.
So hit me
We
up.
will, and we'll put that we'll tag that so that, others can then
Excellent.
go right to it. So, because I would love
Love that.
that. Yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts or Heidi?
Um, no, like I said, I think this was awesome. I appreciate you taking the time. Your story is certainly
My
inspirational. And like I said, for us, like we know as we age and the importance of working out is just really it's at the top of our list. We try to prioritize it every week when we make our schedules, and then hearing your story, and hopefully anybody out there who listens who's
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to walk through that door the same way you felt going to that first Zumba class, right? It takes some courage to walk through that, but once you did, and what came of it, anybody can do that, right? They just have to go and open the door, right? And just walk through and then get started, right? And you can start out simple and don't need to be crazy when you first start out, but then hopefully it turns into a routine and a habit and leads to a healthy lifestyle that maybe they've always wanted to do, but just never knew where to start. So
And maybe if they're on medications, they can get off medications. Not saying stop everything, but like it could lead you to a healthier lifestyle, which maybe would, I don't know if you're diabetic, maybe reduce that insulin, or I don't know, but blood
I
pressure,
yeah,
heart disease, there's so many different variations that many times are being covered with medicine. And, that
yes, I
isn't
see it
always solve it.
all of the time that the more and more people invest in
Yeah.
their journey, in their health journey with nutrition, it happens that medication becomes less and less. And you're just adding life.
Yeah.
It's great.
If exercise could be a pill, the whole world would take it because everybody wants a quick fix, right?
True.
And everyone's used to taking a pill to be that quick fix. So if we just bottled up exercise in a pill, it would definitely do the trick. But it just takes work, and commitment. And like you were saying, consistency. So awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Well, thank
so
you.
it's a pleasure and hope hope to inspire some folks
yeah.
out.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Oh, absolutely.
Inspired us, that's for sure. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. Do you have any last words you want to say? No.
Just again,
thank you for listening. And Heidi, thank you once again for coming on. And we'll be sure to tag everything so that folks can find you.
Wonderful.
So, all right. Stay tuned to the next one.
Have a great day.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening in to this episode of the His and Her Life Hacks podcast. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to having you join us on future episodes. If there is a topic that you would like Dawne and I to discuss, please feel free to contact us at dawn.jacoby@grit2grace.com or larry.ambrose@grit2grace.com. See you on the next one.